Yeah, hi everybody. It's Wednesday, the 30th of September, 2009. It's late on in the evening, and I was out at a funeral. I didn't get in until now, so just bear with me. I just wanted to raise a couple of things. The first thing is the media generally have bitten the hook on this Davy Stockbrokers article that we mentioned in the last snip. And the Irish Times have gone to the front page with it, and it's a big article in today's front page. And they introduce it as a sort of a little subtext within an article, which I'm going to put it up for you. You can have a look at it, and I'll just put it up now. And what it says that the ESRI, which is the Economic and Social Research Institute, and what that is really, it seems to me, looking up its website, it seems to be more jobs for the boys. It seems it's a Quango formed in 1984, and what it's to do is it seems to be some sort of pseudo-academic, pseudo-political economists feeding information into the government, as if we haven't got enough genuine information from the Central Statistics Office. No, we have to have 110 people to interpret all this stuff, and the vast bulk of these 110 people would be paid top whack, like top civil service rates. Anyway, basically their spokesman, their leading light, is a guy called Professor John Fitzgerald. And what he says is basically, in this Irish Times article, he's basically saying he doesn't feel that there will be a recovery before 2011, and then the Irish Times are rebutting that with what we described yesterday, the Rossa White article which is a research article from Davy Stockbrokers. Again, he's another senior economist from the private sector, so we have somebody from the public sector versus somebody from the private sector, and the Irish Times is sort of juxtapositioning the two arguments against one another, as it were. But just in passing, it's very fascinating actually, because this man John Fitzgerald is speaking at a Small Firms Association annual conference, and he says that we need to ask ourselves if we can price ourselves back into the market rapidly. This is the Irish economy. If we do this, we will see a very robust recovery by 2012. Now he's talking about the private sector here, because remember, it's the private sector that generates the wealth. Okay. He said that there would be growth from 2011 onwards, and we might get back to full employment by 2015. That's 6 years from now. He questioned whether costs had actually come down in the private sector. In our modelling, he says, we feel that wage rates, for example, would fall by 7% over 2 years in the private sector. However, the latest data suggests that costs are not coming down, and they are still rising according to CSO data. He said that there had been, listen to this, he said there had been a 7% wage cut in the public sector, and many of his European colleagues were staggered that this had been accepted by Irish public sector workers. Now, I don't know where this man thinks he's coming from with this stuff, but other people can read the Central Statistics Office figures as well, and I'm going to put that up now, and you'll see it as a little graph. Okay. Yeah, this is the little chart I was talking about here, and you can see what it is. It just clearly says that it's public versus private wages. That's here in Ireland over the last 10-11 years. It's from 1998 right up to 2009, and you can see it's clearly marked out. The blue line is the private sector, okay, and then the red line is the public sector, and then the green line is the semi-state sector. And you can see what's happened. Basically what happened was in 1998, even then there was a huge discrepancy between what the private sector workers earned and what semi-state and full state workers earned. And then you can see how the semi-state went off tangentially up, and the the full state lads still had this almost permanent band between themselves and the private sector. So really today in 2009 the full state boys still earn this nearly fixed amount. It works out at somewhere around about 24% more than their contemporaries in the private sector. But the semi-state fellas have gone way ahead of that, and they're up around about 32% or even more. So you can see the amounts of money involved. It's quite large. The people in the private sector, their sort of wages are averaging out around about 40,000, but the ones that are in the full state, they're averaging out around about 50,000, and the ones that are in the semi-state, they're up at about 56,000. So it just makes for interesting reading and for interesting thought, given that we're supposed to be in a capitalist society, and the people that produce the wealth earn much less than the people that service the state and service society. Anyway, it's just an insight, as I say. Yeah, when you see that little graph, I can assure you that's not the sort of graph that Professor John Fitzgerald would be wanting to show you. So you have to get it from, you have to dig it up or work on it or get it from other sources. But anyway, it just gives you a fantastic insight, because the likes of John Fitzgerald, he's at professorial level, and they all earn around about 3,000 or 4,000 euros a week. It's fantastic if you can get it, isn't it? You sit behind a desk and manoeuvre things around. You don't ever have to go out into the real world and worry about anything. Your wage comes every month, and you're on a big pension, and you get, I don't know how many weeks to get off every year, and if you get ill, all you do is produce a doctor's cert, and your wages continue on ad infinitum, and like the whole thing, it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The whole thing's unbelievable. But anyway, it's crazy. It's just, if you write it up in books, if you write it up actually in a fiction novel, people say, that can't be the case. You know, and you explain it all to them. You know, that couldn't be the case. Not at all. That couldn't be the case. How could that be the case? Anyway, the reality is always stranger than fiction, I find. But I just want to talk very briefly, finish that off, and I want to talk about, I met a man today, and he was telling me that, be very brief here, he bought a house in Galway. He's retiring next year. He worked all his life in England, and he's coming home. He's an Irishman from the north of Ireland. His wife's from Galway. They wanted to buy a house. So what happened was, they've been over to Galway about 3 or 4 times over the last year, and the last time he was over, he went and got an independent estate agent, and he did a deal with the estate agent, and the deal was that the cheaper he got him the house, the cheaper the estate agent got the man the house, not only would he give him his fee, but he'd give him a lump sum. So the less he had to pay for the house, the more the estate agent got. And what happened was, anyway, the house was, a year ago, at the beginning of 2008, the house was on the market for 400,000 euros, and the man bought the house 10 days, 2 weeks ago, for 190,000 euros, because he was able to pay for it in like upfront. There was no mortgages involved or anything like that. He has the money in accounting, and it's a redundancy payment he's getting. Do you understand? So anyway, that's the story. So in 1 year, the value of this particular house has gone down 55%. So what does that tell you about NAMA? Where does that leave you with NAMA? And I'd say it will get a lot worse. Just wait until we go through this winter and we come out the other end at around about March or April next year. You see where it is then. We'll get back to that then. Okay, thanks very much. I'll see you shortly. Bye.